All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because those are the men that I learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, El Shai. Yahweh is the true name of the God of Israel. Yahweh Shai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one and only true name is Yahweh Shai. And pretty much in this lesson, I'm just going to go into order ab Chao and the Great Reset, which is all a part of, the so-called white man being the true descendants of Esau Edom. This is their plan, to cause a global economic collapse. But it's going to happen gradually. It's going to happen as a domino effect. So let's check this out real quick. So the phrase order ab Chao, which is a Latin phrase that comes from a German philosopher, right? Which this is a Masonic phrase as well. And the Latin phrase means order out of chaos. So what these Edomites do, they cause different scenarios on the planet Earth, whether it's a false flag attack, whether it's an actual real event. And through that chaos, they come out with new legislations, they come out with new orders that fit their new world order agenda. So these different videos you be hearing about cyber attacks and ransomware attacks and possible EMP attack hitting America, these different things that's going on, gas prices soaring sky high, all of this was already thought out. They knew the consequences of Biden being the head of America, supposedly putting sanctions on Russia. They knew the repercussions that was going to have. And they also know that if they get their European allies to put sanctions on Russia's crude oil, they know that drastic effect that's going to have worldwide and globally. So these things is being done on purpose concerning this this disease outbreak that's going on. All of this has been thought out already. All right, the different so-called different types of the shreds and stuff like that. All of this has been thought out. When you go on the world debt clock, all these countries are in debt. So how are they going to get rid of the debt? So you got to ask yourself that. So dealing with this phrase order ab Chao, right? It says order exists within chaos, because these devils, they cause the chaos. The famines, the hyperinflation, the gas prices being high based off of the news that's going on globally between Ukraine and Russia and America and their allies, right? They stage these different things to further their New World Order agenda and to get you to comply and accept the New World Order agenda, all right? Because they want you to be a permanent slave, and they want to brand you with this RFID technology in the form of an implant, which is the MOTB, according to the scriptures that you see on screen. This is the end game of their NWO, of their New World Order. They want to chip you with what you see on the screen. And the day is going to come where all countries worldwide is going to make this mandatory. This is going to replace the dollar, all right? The new digital currency that they're in the works of creating, that's going to be programmed on this chip, all right? This is what's coming. The dollar is going to collapse. Gold and silver, as well as cryptocurrency, that's not going to replace the U.S. dollar. What's going to replace the U.S. dollar is a new one world currency that's going to be digital and programmed on this chip. This chip is going to be the new way to identify yourselves. But when you read Revelation 20:4, the elect of the nation of Israel, which is the seed line of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, all right, that's a part of the elect. We're not going to take that. Lord willing, not be a part of the elect, as well as you brothers and few sisters that believe worldwide, all right? Because the elect is not going to bow down to no New World Order agenda. The prophets never bow down to no New World Order agenda or the heathen rule. They never did that. They always serve Yahweh and Yahweh Shai instead of serving Mammon and being under the heathen rule, rejecting their power. They never did that, all right? So this is the end game. So what they're in the works of doing now is staging and forming events that's going to lead up to a global economic collapse, to where they can come in with an entirely new system that's a cashless society that involves that new digital currency that they're working on, because they want a way to digitally identify people. And the way how they're going to do that is with this chip. That's what we believe through faith, and that's what's playing out on the planet Earth. So let's check this out. It says order exists within chaos. So they form these false flag events. They cause these famines. They cause these cargo ships to be held out in the ocean. They cause these events to lead up to what? Them making more orders that's going to further their New World Order agenda. So it says as chaos exists within order. So they form the chaos and then they come up with new legislations, new rules. It says you create, and this is what these, Masonic Edomites, this is what they do. All right. From the central bankers on down to these Masons. All right. This is exactly what they do. They create order through a never-ending struggle to find balance with chaos. So this is what the Heavenly Father through the Edomites is going to do, because we ultimately know that the Heavenly Father is controlling the wicked, which is who? The Edomites, pursuing the Malachi 1-4, Psalm 17 and 13. All right. And he's doing this to what? To see who's going to keep the faith unto the end through Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, so forth and so on. So these devils, they're going to come with these different planned events that's going to try and deceive the people into thinking that the New World Order is a thing of convenience by getting that chip and accepting a cashless society. So it says you cannot completely remove chaos from your life, so don't waste time trying. Rather aim for the middle path of balance between order and chaos. And that's the mindset of these central bankers on down to your politicians, your prime ministers, kings, queens, so forth and so on. All right? Because they're all in agreement together. Now let's check out this term, Great Reset. So it says the Great Reset is the name of the 50th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum held in June 2020. It brought together high-profile business and political leaders convened by Charles, Prince of Wales, and the WEF with the theme of rebuilding society, right, quote unquote, New World Order, and the economy following the disease outbreak thing that they got planned out. All right, you can't say certain words in your videos because they'll flag it for medical information and stuff like that. So that's where the term the Great Reset comes from. So these devils, they come together, and every year they think about ways how they're going to further their agenda, how they're going to control the whole entire world, how they can make people slaves. All right. Now I'm going to read some of this. I'm going to get into the scriptures. So this is from a site. It's called Freedom First Network, right? .com. And this is dealing with, the Great Reset, so forth and so on, right? Cashless society. So I'm going to read these bullets real quick. It says, the Great Reset is a globalist plan that is moving forward at lightning speed. And this is why this pandemic was here. This is why the gas prices is going up. This is why Biden put sanctions on Russia. You think these people don't know the consequences of how that's going to affect all these countries globally? Of course they know. It says the disease outbreak was part and parcel of that plan. But to really fulfill the technocrats' ambition, a war of some kind is likely needed. So this is what's going on. You see in World War III, that's going to eventually play out. And the end result of World War III, right, after this chip is made mandatory, is what? The destruction of Babylon the Great, which is America. All right? Because America is Mystery Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great in the scriptures, whether you want to believe it or not. So it says they need chaos, right? They need to cause a global economic collapse. They gotta have the average person on their knees, ready to comply with the New World Order agenda. So they're gonna cause hyperinflation. They're gonna cause man-made, famines, things that they're willingly causing. They're gonna destroy the fishes and the different animals and wildlife and destroy ecosystems. They're gonna do these things in order to what? Have you depend more on the government. And then that's how they're gonna control you. So they're gonna form the chaos, right? And then they're gonna come with a solution, which the ultimate solution is to get that chip when it's made mandatory. And the ones of you that get that chip, you're gonna be destroyed, pursuing the Revelation 14, 9, and 10. It says they need chaos, mass casualties, and financial chaos. So then you could possibly have a cyber attack or EMP attack that could take place, which that would kill off 90%, 9 out of 10 Americans from the different articles that's on Google. And you can actually search that up. All right. They need chaos, mass casualties, and financial chaos in order to create the desperation necessary for people to give up their freedoms and give into the tyrannical control. All right. So this is what they're going to do. They're going to form these different events, and then they want the people to trust in the government, to give their power, their freedom, their mind, body, and soul to the government. And then that's where the government that's controlled by Esau Edom, pursuing the second Ezra 6 and 9, that's how they're going to control the people. All right. Continuing on. It says the World Economic Forum, WEF, that's what that stands for earlier what I read, has for years promoted the implementation of digital identification. What do you think that is? That's that RFID technology in the form of an implant. All right, this is what they want. It says, and ensuring, because this disease outbreak, that's what that led to. Everything becoming digital. You can spread the virus using cash. This is what they're doing. See, everything that they do, and they do it globally, that's for what? Their agenda. So it says, and ensuring that everyone on the planet has a legal, digital, right, identity is part of the United Nations 2013 Sustainable Development Goals. So they have a goal to get everybody chipped by 2030. But the thing is, these Edomites, they don't operate on their own free will and their own free time. They're operating and they're controlled by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. And when he's ready to bring prophecy to pass, then that's when these Edomites is going to act out these particular actions, no matter who it is. It says there's a big difference between identity and identification. And that's why you're seeing this cashless society is being built right before your eyes. All right. It says identification refers to documents that prove you are who you say you are. And that's what we use now. Your regular driver's license, your state IDs, your passports. But now, because of the pandemic, which is a part of the NWO agenda, now you have digital passports. Now everything is digital, right? It says a digital identity is not merely a form of identification. Your identity is who you actually are, and a digital identity will keep a permanent record of your choices and behaviors 24/7. And what do you think all this is going to be on? That implantable implant, all right? That RFID technology in the form of an implant. That's going to be the new way to identify yourselves. And the ones that don't get that chip, the ones that's on the run, that don't get thrown in concentration camps, you will be an outcast from society. Because when they come out with this chip, they are going to require all citizens in all countries to use that as a form of buying and selling. Let you know that what? That the dollar is going to collapse. All right. These data then be used against you. Yeah, because anytime they want to debit money from the chip, Anytime they want to just turn your chip off and kill you, they can do that. It says the WEF has clearly stated that our digital identity will determine what products, services, and information we can access. So they're going to have 100% access to that chip, making people what? A permanent slave. All right. It says, or conversely, what is closed off to us. So there will be absolutely no freedom and privacy concerning this NWO agenda. Now let's get into the scriptures. Second Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Least Satan." And when you go into this word Satan, the Greek word there is Satanas, right? And it's referring to what? A Satan-like man. Who's that Satan-like man on the planet Earth? Who's Satan's physical counterpart on the planet Earth? The so-called white man and his seed line. Because every person on this planet Earth, you come from a particular seed line of men, all right? And when you do your research through the Rakah Kodash, when you do your research, you understand that what? Esau Edom's descendants today is who? The so-called white man. They link up with the prophecies of being Esau Edom. You read in the Jewish encyclopedia, it tells you that what? That Esau is modern Jewry, meaning that they're ruling right now. So the same nation that ruled during the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great, all right, and even his fathers on down, the Roman Empire, all the way up to right now, that's the same people that's ruling right now. That ruled in Greece, the famous Greece Empire and the famous Roman Empire. Even when you look at the statues, they look like so-called white men, the Edomites, all right? So it says, least Satan should get an advantage of us. How would they get an advantage of us? If you're not linking the current events with the biblical prophecies to understand the time period you live in. You know, if you asleep, if you want to be a part of this world, if you're trying to live the American dream, if you're trying to so-called make it in this society, because the people that love their lives, right, those are going to be the ones that take the chip. Those are going to be the ones that don't want to lose their little status in society, right? So the elites, they're going to use that mindset against the people. Since you want to be a part of this society, you know you're going to have to take this chip. You want to buy and sell, you're going to have to take this chip. This is how they're coming. It says, should get an advantage of us, right, through the music, using celebrities, all right, using propaganda, which is lies that's being pushed on the media stations all over. It says, for we, right, the elect of the nation of Israel, Lord willing, I'll be a part of that. It says, for we are not ignorant of his devices, because we understand the game plan according to the Bible through Yahweh's sacrifice. So this New World Order agenda is all throughout the Bible, but only the elect of the nation of Israel is not going to take that chip and bow down to that NWO, all right? And through Yahweh, we're going to have that understanding. This is Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. You know, the sea referring to the people. It says, for the devil, right? When we go into that word devil, the word is diablos.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
And it means slanderer, but also it can mean deceiver, right? Prone to slander. Hasn't the so-called white man, being the true Edomites, that's all they done to the children of Israel. Slanderers, right? It says slanderers accusing falsely. Yeah, they accuse us falsely, pursuing the Micah 2:1. They devise cunning ways to try and separate us from the Heavenly Father and his Son, Yahweh and Yahushai, because they understand that what? When the children of Israel is not worshiping Yahweh and Yahushai in truth and sincerity, this is our time to go and overtake these people and take them over. So they're trying to do everything in their power to separate us from that. But you can't do nothing against the elect. It says a calumniator, false accuser, slanderer, applied to a man who by opposing the cause of the Most High may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with them. And that's the so-called white man. That's Esau Edom. All right. They oppose the Most High. They want to be like the Most High. That's why they're setting up their NWO agenda so that they can try and play the role of the Most High on earth. But they're not going to fully be able to establish this NWO though. It says, continuing on. It says, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, right? AKA that great reset, that global economic collapse, the time period when the dollar's going to collapse, hyperinflation is going to kick in, famine, earthquakes, everything that the prophets talked about that will be happening in these last days is happening. It says, having great wrath. So there's going to be great wrath. Martial law is going to be in effect. People are going to be thrown in concentration camps. This is what's going to take place. It's going to be a time of trouble, not just for one nation, but for everybody. But it's mainly centered around Jacob's trouble, all right? A time of trouble for the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, because we knoweth that he have but a short time. Yeah, because like Apostle Ramlob said, and like an older live stream, he made a great point. He said that the elite banking families, that they're old, they up in age. You look at the age of the Rothschilds on down, these men is in their late 70s, 80s, some is 90s, some of them is dropping dead. So they know that they got to hurry up and further this up. So this is why they have these meetings every year to discuss how can we progress with our agenda. Now let's go to this. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Book of Sirach 12 and 16. It says an enemy, which our enemies is who? The heathen nations, right? They're enemies to the children of Israel. It says an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. And that's the so-called white man, pursuing the what? Psalms 55, 20, and 21. How his words are smoother than butter, but he imagined how he's going to draw swords and overtake you. It says, but in his heart, meaning his mind, going back to the Hebrew word lob, he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. So this is why they have these meetings every year. This is why they have these different events. And that's why they have that Latin phrase, order ab chaos. Let's form chaos and then come up with the solution that these people is desperately going to need and follow. This is what they do. He will weep with his eyes. Yeah, they'll act like they're on your side. They'll march with you or whatever, right? It says, but if he find opportunity, and that's the thing with the so-called white man. That's why it says that what? How it compares him to like a snake, like a serpent, because a serpent know when to strike. It says, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Yep. And that's why it says in Habakkuk 2 and 5, roughly paraphrasing, how this devil, he pretty much has everything at his disposal, but it's still not good enough. If adversity, which adversity is what? Times of trouble, positions of difficulty, right? And what's the position of difficulty right now? You need the jab to work, all right? You got hyperinflation that's getting ready to kick in. The gas prices are soaring sky high, right? So that's going to make people's living situations rough. They're going to have even less money. It says, come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Because we know that the Edomites is the root of the problem. It says, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And that's what these devils do. They're not on our side, and they don't love us. All right, they actually hate us because they can't get their blessing back. It says, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. And man, that reminds me of Joe Biden, But that's how these devils act. They'll pretend to be your friend, but in their mind, they thinking about a way how to destroy you and how to make you a slave forever. So Lord willing, you was edified. Shalom.